You want to get closer here to the
Sure,
camera?
I'll move this.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I have been asked this question
Good.
many times, and I always say, which is the truth, I speak to you as if we are coming back in 1997. So this happened to me in 1997. So if you come back with me, is a different time in 1997, which I thought I was highly always modeling and acting. I was auditioning for Melrose Place and Beverly Hills 90210, and I was working on Doogie Howser, and I was doing many shows and many modeling lingerie ads, and I did all these things and I was in Playboy, but I was in lingerie. But on the left side of me was Cindy Crawford in the magazine and Claudia Schiffer, my two favorite Victoria's Secrets models, and I'm in the magazine with them. So I thought, I'm going to send my pictures to New York. And I somehow got wind of him from a friend of mine that was pursuing him for some type of real estate. And she went to meet him. And then he asked her, and he came to California from New York, and he had already seen my pictures.
Meaning Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
Yes. And he wanted to meet me. So I was notified and called by his secretary, which to this day I think could have been Ghislaine Maxwell, but I don't know for sure. So I did go meet him. He ended up meeting my friend first, Jeffrey Epstein, and he had asked, do you know anyone that wants to be in Victoria's Secrets? And she said, no. And then she said, I don't want to be in Victoria's Secrets, but my friend Alicia does. And Jeffrey Epstein said, have her call me. And anything else, and anyone else who wants to be in Victoria's Secrets. Which is why, to this day, it makes perfect sense to me now that he was recruiting what we all saw that he did, but I didn't know that that's what he did and became of him.
Where did you meet him?
I ended up in the hotel room with him for what I thought was a Victoria's Secret's lingerie catalog audition.
And which hotel was that?
Shutters. In Santa Monica, California. And I wanted so desperately, like any model, to be in Victoria's Secrets. And I know that I could, because I was doing so much other, and I know I could do it, and I know I could be in there based on my beautiful modeling pictures. And so we were there in the hotel room, and he opened the door. He was barefoot in what appeared to be a suite with a kitchen and a whole entire living room. It's very expensive to stay there and be there at Shutters. So he opened the door, and I'll never forget it. He had on a white shirt. It might have been Fila at the time, and black lingerie pants. No, black sweatpants. Okay. Sweatpants, not lingerie. Okay. Sweatpants, and black. Oh no, he was barefoot. So he wanted to see my portfolio, and so it was going well until he said, come closer to me, and then I want to start handling you. He asked me to turn around, and normally in an audition you might end up in a bathing suit, and you take off your wrap and you in a bathing suit, and you model and turn around, which is legitimate to do that. But then he wanted me to come closer, and he started touching me, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. And he said, let me manhandle you, which I've never heard that word, and it's very upsetting because he said that to me. I've never forgotten it. And he wanted to manhandle me and start touching my buttocks, my stomach, my hips and thighs, and my chest, and it just was becoming apparent that I just felt like I was going to just involved in a situation I didn't want to be in. So I wanted to leave. And so I said, Jeffrey, I'm going to leave. And then he said to me, I will give you $100. And to this day, it's so hard for me to say, because I said I'm not a prostitute. I only want to be in Victoria's Secrets. I only want to be in the catalog. And I didn't take it. I threw it on the table, and because did not want to go on what all the touching anymore. It was not right. It's not what happens in an audition. So I said, I'm taking my portfolio and I'm leaving. And I'm leaving. So I left, and he's following me out of the room, and he gave me the $100. And I didn't know really what to do. So I decided to take it, because if you've been a model and actress in LA and you are living in Hollywood, driving to auditions in Santa Monica in LA, it's a lot of gas. So then I did. And I said, okay, I'm leaving. And so he followed me to valet parking in the Shutters Hotel. And he got his car, which was a black Mercedes. And then I went out into mine, and I said, okay, so I'm leaving. And he just kind of waved and didn't say anything. I think he said, I'll call you, but I just was so traumatized as to what took place, and him touching me and groping me and telling me he wanted to manhandle me, and I'm in a bra and underwear at this point, because that's what happens. When you're going in for lingerie catalogs, you do have to be in a bra and underwear and a swimsuit to get the job. But I physically thought I was going to get it, and I had no idea that he really wasn't really who he said he was. And then I just felt I needed to leave. I drove right to the Santa Monica Police Department, which is across the street from the Shutters Hotel. And so I just felt I needed to do it. And that I'm sure I've put out there before. I don't know if you want me to go into that. That was a whole saga. I went in, and they didn't really want me to file it, and I felt I had to. So they took a little bit. They told me to think about it and come back. Think about it and come back. And so I just really wanted a female police officer, which I ended up not getting. But I did it, and to this day I'm happy that I did. And I said everything in my statement that, he was touching me and groping me and taking my clothes off, as to my clothes are off, but I just felt I needed to get out of there. And I felt I had to file the police report, because what if he was doing this to other girls? I'm solely in there for, a legitimate audition, and he's already seen my pictures, but I did get a phone call from a woman. And then, when I was in the room, I was crying in front of him a lot, because I wanted to get in the catalog so bad. And he was saying, well, you look great in this picture, but then you look really busty. He did say that to me. You look really busty in this picture. And I said, I'm very fit. I'm in fitness magazines. A camera can appear bigger or not. So that's great. And so then he did say that, and then he said, I'll have to see, and then I started crying. And then he did get another phone call on his cell phone in front of me, and I, to this day, I can't prove it, but I think it was Ghislaine Maxwell, allegedly. I think, because they were together in 1997, right? In 1997. And then she got a phone, she called, maybe, he answered the phone, and he said, I have this beautiful girl in front of me, and she's very upset, before I said I had to leave. Mm-hmm. I was crying in front of him, because I wanted to desperately get the catalog, the magazine, so badly. And so he said, I have this beautiful girl in front of me, and she's very upset. Okay. And I think it was her, but I can't prove it, but I think it was her.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Thank you very much for coming today.